So what if you could make a year's salary in like 2 hours? I know, it sounds like total hype, right? But today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a system that actually did it. And this isn't about some secret trick or getting lucky. It's about a proven, step-by-step blueprint that, honestly, anyone can follow. Let's break it all down.
$180,000. Just let that number sink in for a second. That's how much money was made from one single digital product all inside a 2-hour webinar. Now, this wasn't some fluke, a one-off viral moment. Nope. This was the result of a system that was planned out piece by piece.
And this quote from the system's creator, Inaya McMillan, really gets to the heart of it. She says, it's not about having this giant audience or some hidden strategy. What you really need is a proven system that converts. It's all about having a reliable way to turn curious people into actual customers. And that's the system we're going to deconstruct right now.
All right, first up, a quick overview of the system. Before we get into all the nitty-gritty details, you gotta see the big picture. Because this isn't just about running a webinar, it's about building a whole ecosystem where every single part, from the first ad they see to the final email, all work together perfectly.
So this whole thing really runs on 3 big pillars. First, you've got traffic generation. This is how you get the right people in the door. Second, the webinar itself. This is the main event, the moneymaker, where you build trust and deliver a ton of value. And third, the follow-up. And honestly, this is the secret weapon for closing all the people who are on the fence.
Okay, section 2. Let's really zoom in on the heart of the system, the webinar. Now, this is not just a presentation. Think of it more like a psychological journey that you're taking your audience on. It's all carefully designed to build trust, give them incredible value, and make buying from you feel like the most natural next step in the world. Every single webinar that converts like crazy follows this exact 3-part structure. You've got the intro, the content, and the offer. And just look at this chart here. See how the content, the teaching part, takes up this massive chunk of time? This is not some long drawn-out sales pitch. It's a value-packed masterclass that just happens to have an offer at the end. Those first 20 minutes are absolutely make or break. In that little window of time, you either grab your audience and earn their full attention, or they're clicking away to do something else. The good news is, there's a surprisingly simple 4-part formula to nail this part every single time.
So here's the formula. You start with a really strong hook to get their attention right away. Then you talk about their pain, which shows them you really truly get what they're struggling with. Third, you've got positioning. This is where you answer their unspoken question, why should I listen to you? And finally, the most important part, the paradigm shift, where you introduce a totally new way of thinking about their problem.
This paradigm shift is the real powerhouse of the intro. It's that aha moment. I mean, look at the real estate example here. Most people believe you have to own property to make money. But what if you challenge that and say, hey, you can actually get started by renting property? You've just shattered their old way of thinking and opened a brand new door. And suddenly, they're leaning in, dying to know how.
Okay, so now we're in the core content, and this is where the real magic happens. But it's not just a lecture. You actually have 2 jobs here. While you're teaching them what to do and how to do it, you're also building up their belief in themselves, and at the same time, you're knocking down all the doubts that would stop them from buying later.
And this is the secret to getting a sky-high conversion rate. See, amateurs wait until the end to handle objections, but the pros, they weave it right into the teaching. So as you're teaching, you're already handling their fears about money or not having enough time or not being smart enough. By the time you even get to your offer, their biggest objections have already just melted away.
Section 3, crafting the perfect offer. So if you've done the intro and the content right, your audience is now thinking, okay, this is amazing, but I'm going to need some help to actually do it. Your offer is the bridge that gets them from where they are to where they want to be.
A really powerful offer isn't just one thing. It's a conversion machine made of these 5 key parts. You've got your core offer, which is the main thing you're selling. A smart price strategy to show how valuable it is. Bonuses that make it a no-brainer. A risk reversal, like a guarantee to take away their fear. And finally, scarcity, to give them a real reason to act now. Now, it's so tempting to price your stuff low, right? You think more people will buy it. But this system actually argues for the exact opposite. Premium pricing brings in more committed customers. And that's so important, because when people pay more, they pay more attention. They do the work, they get results, and then they become your best success stories.
Seriously, let this one sink in. Your bonuses often matter more than your core product. Bonuses are not just some little throw-in. They're the psychological trigger that pushes a person from, "I'm thinking about it," to, "I absolutely have to have this." Every bonus needs to feel so valuable that you could sell it on its own.
Okay, a quick but super important rule about scarcity: it has to be real. If you say there are only 10 spots, there better only be 10 spots. Using fake countdown timers or just making stuff up is the fastest way to destroy all the trust you just spent 90 minutes building. Just don't do it. Section 4. After the webinar. The live show might be over, but for these bigger, high-ticket sales, the process is far from done. The follow-up isn't just a little add-on. For a lot of people, the follow-up is the sales process.
This slide right here might just blow your mind. Look at that chart. A whopping 70 to 80% of sales happen after the webinar is over. People need time to think, to talk to their spouse, to move money around. If you skip the follow-up, you are literally leaving most of your money on the table.
And this isn't just about sending random emails. It's a strategic 5-day campaign. You can see how it works. You start with the replay, then you tackle the biggest objections, you share some social proof, you add a little urgency, and then you have the final call. Every single email has a job to do. Move them one step closer to making a decision.
All right, last section, your next steps. You now have the entire blueprint from A to Z. But, knowing this stuff doesn't do you any good if you don't act on it. So let's make this real. Here are the first 3 things you can do to start building this for yourself, like today.
It really starts this simple. First, pick a topic. What's a real, painful problem you know how to solve for someone? Second, map out the 3 to 7 key steps to get that result. Boom, that's your webinar content. And third, build out that 5-part offer we talked about. And make sure you include all 5 pieces. And let's finish up with a little dose of reality here. Your first webinar is probably going to be a bit rough. And you know what? That's totally fine. This system works, but it's also a skill you have to build. The only thing that truly matters is that you're willing to start. The hardest part really is just starting.
So there you have it, the complete blueprint, a proven repeatable system for delivering a ton of value and, generating incredible results. You've seen exactly how it's done. So the only real question left is the one on your screen. What will you build with it?